welcome to the 80sist, the podcast that uses your votes to determine the most totally 80s song ever to blare from the tinny speakers of a canary yellow Walkman. In the heart of rock and roll, Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Keith Marsteller, and joining me from Seattle, it's the creator of the 80sist, my longtime friend and my co-host, it's Joe Wack. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Well, Keith, I'm moving forward, using all my breath.
Are you?
Podcasting with you is never second best.
Now, can I just point out, I don't want to be a dick here, but breath and best don't rhyme at all.
Yeah, okay, what are you going to do?
Write better lyrics? I'm not going to throw stones.
You want to come for modern English?
That's a good point. I better leave that alone.
Yeah, you better.
Because today we're going to discuss the 8th and final matchup in our first round in the bands region that pits 2-seed I Melt With You by Modern English against our 15-seed Too Shy by Kajagoogoo. Kajagoogoo.
It's just never not funny, man.
Or Kajagoogoo, as the Brits appear to say.
Kajagoogoo. I Melt With You is from the album After the Snow, released in August 1982. It peaked at number 7 in the U.S. mainstream rock charts, but only hit 78 on the Hot 100.
And so it kind of charted more as a rock song, which is weird, right?
Interesting.
Well, Too Shy is from the album White Feathers. Sorry, White Feathers.
White
Feathers. It feels like it needs to be whispered, right?
It sounds like a perfume.
Oh, yeah, that's what it does. White
Yeah.
Feathers by Elizabeth
White
Feathers. Anyway, Too Shy is from White Feathers, released in January of 1983. Just a few months later, it reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. But, Joe, this song hit number 1 in 6 other English-speaking countries.
What did they know that we didn't?
I don't, we were close. I guess American buyers were too shy in their purchasing of the album. You see what I did?
I do. I wish you hadn't.
I Melt With You, an absolute 80s juggernaut. That's why it's a 2-seed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a bit of a listen. All right, well, that's one of those songs where I could just let it keep playing, but at some point we had to stop it.
I kind of wish you would, but I get it.
But instead of playing that, we will go over and listen to a little bit of Too Shy, which, say what you will about it, and you will, is super fucking 80s. So here's a little bit of Too Shy. Man, that bass.
Right?
Long intro here.
It is lengthy. still going.
Tongue tied or short of breath, don't even try. Try a little harder. Something's wrong, you're not naive. You must be strong. Ooh, baby, try. Hey, girl, move a little closer. You're too shy, shy. Hush, hush, I do I. Too shy, shy. Hush, hush, I do I. Too shy, shy. Hush, hush, I do I. Too shy, shy. Hush, hush.
All right, that is a taste of the super 80s hit, smash global hit, apparently.
Global.
Too Shy. Again, Kajagoogoo. I'll try to say their name with respect instead of belittling it.
No. Please belittle it.
Anyway, all right, Joe, do you like these songs? And we'll start with I Melt With You. I love I Melt With You. I'll just be straight up. Love the song.
Yeah.
One of my favorite 80s songs, definitely.
It absolutely is. I could not love this song more. As a matter of fact, I mean, this there's some that are close, but this is possibly my favorite song in the whole bracket.
In the field? Or, wow, that's awesome.
The entire bracket. I really love this song.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
and no argument. How do you feel about Too Shy?
Yeah, it's okay.
I feel like it is super well known, like it's a cornerstone of 80s pop music. They are one-hit wonders.
Right.
Technically, I think so is Modern English. I can't name another Modern English song either.
Me either. These are two bands that did not do a lot more.
At least in America, for what we know. But like, I'm going to bring out the I word here. The Too Shy to Shy, Hush Hush, Eye to Eye is an iconic bit of 80s ism. Like, everybody knows that. Everyone who is alive knows that verse, right? Like, that chorus of that song.
If you went up to someone and you said, "You're too shy," they would, of course, come back with "Hush Hush," to which you would reply, "Eye to eye," and then you could, I guess, exchange whatever spy secrets.
Right. Because that would be the passcode.
Yeah.
What does that, do you really think, mean? That
I know. I've been trying to parse this. Like, why do they have to say it twice? Shy,
I don't know.
Shy. You're too shy.
And then hush, hush, and then eye to eye. There's a parallel doubling of everything there, eye to eye.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand. It's a quirk of Kajagoogoo.
So just so that we're clear, because I didn't say, this is one of those songs that, to me, I'm not going to skip, but I'm also never going to go put it on a playlist either. It's one of these ones that occurred to me late, honestly, because a listener commented, I hope to see Kajagoogoo, and I was like, oh my God, how could I not have Too Shy in this? And we had to go back and kind of do the bands region to get this song in.
That's right. Someone else got the boot.
That's right. So it was Dr. Janet who commented, by the way, as our Kajagoogoo fan, but she's totally right. It belongs in this field. And
she's not wrong.
So let's talk about who's going to win this thing, Joe. In your opinion, we already know how you feel about I Melt With You's quality.
Yeah.
How do you feel about its 80s cred?
Let me clarify just how much I love this song. I love this song so much that at one point I was writing a screenplay based on this song's title and that would feature 80s music all throughout because I love this song so much.
Wow. Like the screenplay originated because of the song?
Yeah. It's basically the "I'll Stop the World" parts. The idea was that this teenager in the 80s, his grandfather is terminal. He's going to die, and so the kid somehow freezes time inside the house.
Oh, wow.
And so they're just living in this kind of timeless zone. And it would feature a lot of 80s music because, of course, they don't progress through time, so we never get to grunge or boy bands
We
or what
just
have you.
stay here in this
Just stay
little
in the
80s
80s.
bubble. Nice.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
I haven't read this screenplay of yours yet, but is that because you've thrown it out? Did you?
Oh, yeah, no, I never finished it.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Well, so that's how much this song means to you and connects you with the 80s.
Right.
Is that you went to those lengths to include
Yeah.
it. And a bit of 80s cred is that it appears in a montage and the closing credits of the 1980s movie Valley Girl.
The Nicolas Cage starring movie.
So that's, one of the very first kind of 80s teen movies, I guess you would say. Because I think that might have been 1980 even. I'm not sure.
Somewhere around there.
I know it's listener and friend Joe Shesko's favorite 80s movie. Maybe favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah. So
that is...
I had to shout it
unique.
out as being in Valley Girl or I would never hear the end of it from this guy. So
Got it.
yeah. So that, I melt with you, the lyrics and the way the song is written, to me, are more engaging and like meaningful in a way that lasts your whole life. Like that, I still love the song now.
Right.
So it's almost like a strike against it that it's too good of a song.
But so let's talk then about what makes it 80s.
Yes.
So the vocals right from the get-go
Yeah.
sound very second British invasion, the way they're singing, but the music in the beginning to me is more of a straightforward kind of rock song.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There's synth in there, but it's not at the forefront.
Yeah, it's kind of hanging out behind the jangly guitar.
Exactly. That jangly guitar is what you're hearing mostly there. But
Here's that voice. Here's that vocal.
Then,
right?
Making love to you was never second best.
All right, but then...
Then around 158, it gets
158.
80s. It gets echoier.
All right,
we
let's
could
pull
listen
that
to
up.
that.
Here we go. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
at 217...
All right, 217, which is coming up in 5 seconds, so I'll let it play. You get the synth bridge.
Then the synth comes to the fore, man.
Well, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, and it's perfectly 80s.
It is. And then at 3 minutes, I'll pull us in, and we get the mms. Love that bass there too.
Yeah.
And then back into it. So it's got that nice little respite in there, It's So it does.
It's just a very well constructed song.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing a lot of people wondered about is what is this really about? And I found it's in the region preview, but I found the song's author discussing it.
To be honest with you, the actual lyric "I Melt You" is about a couple making love as the bomb drops. It was also supposed to be about the challenge of being in love at a time when things aren't very good.
So, you got the Cold War going on. The thought of the bomb dropping was all over pop culture. And the thought of that Cold War exploding was everywhere in things like Red Dawn, a TV show called Threads, The Day After. All these things, worried about this, and rightfully so, worrying about an atomic bomb dropping. And so that 80s Cold War kind of panic making it into the song is a pretty 80s thing to
It really
from a
is.
cultural perspective anyway, to get in there.
Yeah, think of the scene in the Terminator where she's having that dream. Think of if you're a comic book fan, Watchmen. Throughout there is all this, atomic disaster imagery.
Yeah,
it's very 80s.
And so I never really, I always thought it was kind of like a metaphorical melt with you kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But then to find out he was literally saying, like, your bodies are going to be fused together by a nuclear explosion.
That's pretty gross.
And he did talk about how things, being in love when things aren't so great, like the economy was taking a dump and,
Oh, yeah, no, Thatcherism going on over there.
So it's very much of its time in that sense. Yeah. Even though the piece of art they made still speaks to us now, doesn't mean it wasn't 80s as hell, right?
I agree.
And you know who else agrees? Our listener, Kathleen, has a friend of ours.
Old friend.
Yeah, very much. Longtime friend. And we'd been talking about getting some listeners involved, getting their take on the various songs. And Kathleen was nice enough to kind of put her thoughts for I Melt With You into words for us. And, here's what she came up with.
My choice for the 80s song is I Melt With You by Modern English. I think our favorite songs have so much to do with what was happening at that time in our lives when the song was popular. And it's sort of an emotional snapshot of the time and the place and what we associate the song with. And I always felt when I listened to that song that anything was possible, that I could be whatever I wanted to be or move wherever I wanted to move. And it gave me a feeling of hope. It's that expansive 80s guitar and the playful synthesizer, and then you throw in some kind of lyrics that are up for interpretation, adding some mystery, and then the British mystique as well. And I think that at least one band member had a flock of seagulls haircut, so that just adds icing to the cake. So definitely for me, it's I Melt With You by Modern English.
And so there you go. That was a well done little commentary from Kathleen. Thanks for doing that. And
she makes a valid point.
Yeah, she really does. And so now, what can Kajagoogoo do to stand up against the juggernaut that is modern English? Well, I'll tell you what they could do. They could become the Beatles of the 80s, Joe.
The hottest band around in Britain at the moment. Kajagoogoo, number 2 in the charts. Will they be the Beatles of the 80s? Let's find out. It could all collapse tomorrow. You could be one-hit wonders. Nick, what security have you got if that happens?
Security? Well, I guess we've all got things we could go back to. Limal, when he was a hairdresser for a while.
So the lot to
did he go back to
Joe.
hairdressing? That's my question.
Because of their one-hit status, did Limal, who I believe is the lead singer, did he go back to hairdressing? I honestly don't know, but I know he did not continue on to a spectacular storied music career.
No. I mean, I can see the comparison. Because, both bands had hit after hit after hit. Both bands were I'm sure the members of Kajagoogoo were knighted.
You're comparing them to the Beatles here and saying like it's a fair comparison.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Not overblown at all.
Right.
It was not exaggeration.
Sir Limal, right? And the Kajagoogoo had a dozen smash albums packed full of hits.
Yes. They are not held up as the greatest songwriters of a generation.
Yeah. I mean, they're the Beatles of the 80s. I mean, what is that guy thinking? I mean, and he says it so confidently.
The hottest band around in Britain at the moment. Kajagoogoo, number 2 in the charts. Will they be the Beatles of the 80s? Let's find
Let's find out.
We've talked before about cocaine use in the 80s.
Oh.
And I think there's a very good possibility that before he sat down to interview those guys, he snorted up a good, bucket.
Maybe a full bucket of coke. Yeah, that's true.
Did coke come in buckets? I don't know these things.
So it depends on how much money you had. I know in the movie Ellsworth Vice that I made, which has been referred to before, I play a character who's buying cocaine from a bad, from another version of myself. Anyway, I say, because I don't know metric volume and mass, I say
because America.
Because America. I knew metric distance from track, and but I didn't. So I was just like said what I heard on Miami Vice. I was like, I'll take 2 kilos, which I now know is 4.4 pounds of cocaine. Wow. And my co-star scrapes into some tinfoil about an ounce of cocaine, flour or whatever. That might have been sugar so that I could actually snort it. I don't recall, but doesn't matter. The point is
cocaine.
Cocaine, it could come by the bucket load if you had enough money, I guess.
There you go. I'm sure there were people who had buckets.
I feel like that's probably true. Now,
yeah.
Something to add to the 80s cred of Too Shy. And this is probably deserving of... And this is submitted by listener Dr. Janet, who's a big Kajagoogoo fan, apparently, of this song anyway. This song was produced by Duran Duran's keyboardist, Nick Rhodes.
The hell you say?
One of the guys who's not named Taylor in Duran Duran and who isn't Simon Le Bon, that guy is Nick Rhodes.
Right. That one.
Yeah, he's the kind of emo-looking guy that's back there playing all those synth stabs in A View to a Kill.
Got it.
He helped produce this, so he knows a little bit about making an 80s sound, right?
Well, he definitely packed some 80s into this. I mean, the opening of the song is super 80s.
Right, and I commented on it when it was playing, but the bass line on this is so badass.
This is a pretty funky bass.
And he goes deep with it. Bow, bow. And there's a couple things where he's on the low, pow, pow, like on the lowest string possible, playing the deepest note possible.
Sorry, could Paul McCartney pull that off?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Shove it, Paul.
This bass is so badass that if you look in Wikipedia, this song is categorized as synth funk, which is a category I had never seen prior to now. Synth funk.
Nor would you see it again, most likely.
That's true. So you've got the hushing, the eyes to eyes. Later on in the song, there's a section, this extremely synthy bridge. So try to say that's not 80s, right? I mean,
it is entirely 80s. Let me bring up something else.
Yeah, go ahead.
So these guys, and I don't know how familiar our listeners are with Kajagoogoo, but I want you to look in our Discord. I'm going to have you go to that. And
okay.
I posted 2 pictures of these guys.
All right.
And if you could just
now
describe.
Oh wow!
Describe what you see here.
I see. It looks like they went. The group. There's 5 of them, I guess.
Yeah.
And it looks like they went to the hairdresser and were like, "Give us each a different color." Like we got 2 red. Well, 1 redhead, 1 red and blonde. Yep. 1 blonde and brown, 1 brown and 1 all blonde. One guy's got a braided mullet, a beaded braided mullet.
It's like he went Bo Derek, but only up to the ears.
Up to the ear section. And then
he's Yahoo Serious above the ears.
Another guy's got yellow bangs and red hair. The other guy's got like a Rod Stewart mullet. Like Rod Stewart on top, mullet in the back. The other guy looks like he just...
The guy in the back looks to me like Nick from Family Ties.
Oh, okay. That's
Mallory's ne'er-do-well boyfriend.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, that's the guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it is just audacious stylings, 80s clothes,
Also,
like the cut.
oh my God, the outfits.
They're wearing like flash dance sweatshirts with the necks cut out and the
Right.
notches cut in. I mean, wow, dude. I had not. It's incredible what these guys. It's like they showered in "Wake Me Up Before You Go" every morning.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and we can hopefully post this picture.
Oh yeah, we can post this with the episode
on our Substack
for sure. Wow.
So you can enjoy the glory of these gentlemen for yourself.
I don't know what modern English looks like, but I promise you, it's not that 80s.
No, it could not be.
These
No
guys
one could
are
look
so
more
80s that it's possibly going to change my vote. That's how 80s those guys look.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right.
And speaking of votes, unless you have any other comments, we can move right to the verdict.
I'm all done.
Wow. Well, I think it's your turn to go first on this one, on the vote. So what do you say, Joe?
Well, despite the incredible 80s-ness of that intro, despite the fact that these guys look like people I went to high school with, the mulletasticness of Kajagoogoo, despite all that, I gotta go with "I Melt With You." It's the song that I would love to see advance to the very end of this contest. Like I said, I think here's the thing.
Yeah,
for me,
go ahead.
"I Melt With You" has all the 80s stuff, but it's not hitting you over the head with it. It's there. It's
like a
solidly
subtle
there. Right. And I think they use all those tropes that we've talked about. All the stuff that we are using
just do
as
it lightly.
signifiers. But yeah, they do it right.
That's
and
an interesting
my
take,
vote goes
yeah.
to Modern English with "I Melt With You."
Because a lot of my votes, so I don't act, right? But I can overact with the best of them. Like, I don't have any subtlety. So I am able to see what you're talking about because, like, I'm voting for these songs that are just absolutely smacking you in the face with their 80s-ishness, like...
I've done that, too.
Like the Power Station, like the Jets crush on you.
Like the Jets.
Yeah,
yes.
the Jets are the absolute number one example of with their, like... always have it at the ready. Anyway, you make it compelling enough argument that I think I too am. I came in thinking "Melt With You," then I listened to "Too Shy" again and was like, oh. Then you showed me those pictures and I was like, oh, eye to eye, indeed. And
yes, those guys are not too shy.
So I think what's happening here is that you're right. It's a perfectly balanced 80s song. It has all of the things, and they actually, use them in good measure. Instead of throwing in 2 cups of synth, they throw in a half cup and stir it lightly, right?
That's right. It's like, I'm sorry, for all the people out there who disagree with me on this, sometimes you can have too much garlic, right?
Yeah.
And so Kajagoogoo is maybe too much garlic.
So maybe, but yeah, is it the 80s-ist? Well, we'll see. We'll see what the crowd has to say. But it is a 2 versus a 15 for a reason.
That's right.
Some of our seeds don't seem to have any reason to them. This one did.
Yeah.
And so the two of us are going with, maybe it's less exciting because we're not at each other's throats telling each other that we're stupid like we always do. But in this case, it seems like maybe about half the time we agree. And here we are agreeing on "I Melt With You." Now,
That's
audience, please join us.
Here's how you do that. You can go to the80sist.substack.com. You can find us on Facebook. If you search for the 80sist podcast. On Threads, you can find us at @the_80s_est. Or you could email us. You could even email us a voice memo like
Kathleen did, yeah.
At the80sist@gmail.com.
And of course, you can jump on Spotify. Our podcast is up on Spotify, but as are all 4 of the region playlists. And just search for the 80sist, and you will find all of those things. And if you like it, go ahead and like it, or follow it, or
subscribe,
or review
leave
it.
a review.
Yeah, I would like an effusive review to make a callback to last episode. Probably
Yes.
the scathing reviews might turn people off to us.
That would be, I'm sure, their intent.
Yeah. So if you don't have anything nice to say, just scroll by, I guess. But that's how we would love to hear from you on this one. I have a feeling that this matchup is going to stir up a lot of comments. Just a feeling that I have.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, so... But that is all the time we are going to have for today's show, and please join us next time on the 80sist when we'll reveal our Singers Region Preview.
Wow, moving on to the singers.
That's right. So until then, on behalf of Joe, this has been Keith saying, hey, if you have a sibling who's converted into an immortal drinker of blood, don't sell them out to your parents, okay?
My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Will you wait till Mom finds out, buddy?